eating, yapping, and drinking some kava, I saw this post. It's like, the world is ending. You might as well just do what you want to do anyways. Or maybe it was like, the world is in chaos. You might as well just do what you want to do anyways. And low-key, that spoke to me. Has it always felt like the world is in chaos? And this is just an inevitable cycle or a feeling in societal culture? Or are these unprecedented times truly unprecedented? I have no hope for the future, but at least I have hope for right now. Nothing in my heart feels like in 10 years, 15 years, it'll get better. No, I don't feel that way. And that's such a an interesting, weird struggle, at least personally, I feel. I'm not that I feel like we're all damned, but it definitely feels like these are some of the consequences of our actions. I more so feel like how we progress in these next 10 years will determine the future 30, 40, 50 years. I kind of had in mind to talk about cultural appropriation, but I'm uncertain if that's even like a debate topic now in 2025. Like, is cultural appropriation still a thing? Or like, are we over it in society and not really interested in discussing or defending things? And cultural appropriation just meaning like people co-opting the aesthetics, trends, looks, speech of certain people. Does it matter nowadays? Do we accept it and just like, okay, whatever? Or is it still something that people think is worthy to defend? I'm overspending energy defending Black culture. I think it's such an exhausting concept to defend Black culture against being co-opted. It feels just like an endless loop. And racism feels like an endless loop too. I find myself much less militant about racism. I don't have the energy anymore. There's so many things I lack the energy for. And racism from groups or entities that I'm not obligated to give my energy to, I don't care. I also find that a lot of racists, they still want the energy and not necessarily the validation, but they want to feel the person that they're trying to oppress, that feel that reaction. I love not reacting to things much, 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 much more than the feeling of giving that reaction. Like, standing up and be like, this is wrong, this is bullshit. Like, to a degree that feels good to stand up against what's wrong. But more often than not, I love not reacting. Or if I do react to something, I love to have it in writing. Just an off the cuff reaction, hate it. I haven't even been put in that situation that I react off the cuff or in person like that. It feels goofy, like I've been manipulated. I also want to share this magazine I got. It's called the Not So Difficult magazine. I bought it from a magazine shop here in Antwerp. This is not revolutionary for me to be interested in print magazines because I think that that's part of a broader movement. But I'm very happy to be part of it because I think the concept of owning magazines is so cool. Having like the piece of art at your fingertips, because the magazine is kind of just like looking at a photo dump for an online book. But especially if it's a more aesthetic magazine like this one, Not So Difficult magazine, the inspiration issue, I think it's a different vibe. I always just do a quick flip through and I judge it by its cover. I feel like I remember seeing this picture. It seems like Ice Cube, no? Is this Ice Cube? Spider-Man, whatever this cartoon character is, DJ equipment, in an LV bag. Sold. I love an aesthetic magazine. I either want to take like my favorite pieces of my magazines or favorite little like pages and pull them out and compile them in a magazine of just things that I love, just so I can like have all of that super accessible, or just have like a big library of magazines. I've started accumulating just quite a lot of magazines now, and maybe I share them. It would make me quite like happy to share some cool magazines that I run across. This one, I don't know how cool it is, and it seemed like it was like up my alley, but I really don't know. So I guess just let's get into it. The Not So Difficult magazine inspiration issue. It's giving a reading to children. It's giving elementary school teacher. Whatever. 1 hour from the city in search of ... Good train station. Man, these all look like magazines. I would love to have just an archive of just magazines that I accumulate and just having it just chilling and and reading magazines. Like if I just want to, instead of brain rotting on social media, just looking at all these different magazines. This is goals. Wow. This is so goals. I truly don't want to have a library of books. Like, okay, books I like. Books? No, I want to have a library of aesthetics. I want to accumulate so many magazines and like aesthetic little pieces or art such that when my time comes and I die, I want it to be absolute hell for my loved ones to have to figure out who gets what goes where. I want it to be so difficult. That is my last will and testament. For it to be a little bit painful but satisfying to have to organize like where all my books and stuff go. Magazines. I see it like magazines to me capture the times much better than books. Yes, it's pictures or having those references to like clothing and from other people's perspectives. To me it just seems like a more beautiful and efficient time capsule. Newsy magazines too. Personally, I read The Economist generally. It's not like actually, low-key, it was my favorite news. Like, let's not bullshit. It was my favorite news outlet because I thought that it kind of like it was easy to read through the bias and you could see where the intentions were in the narrative that they were trying to sell to the public. And it being a UK-based newspaper, it just to me was very obvious. Like, okay, this is where they are trying to move the needle to society. It was nice to kind of get that perspective because I feel like, okay, watch the news. Okay, the news is cool. But really, when you watch the money, you watch these industries where they're growing, what they're thinking about, what they're scared about, the things that they're advocating for. To me, I could better anticipate future events and I could understand the motives behind present or past events. But honestly, since October 7th, how they really dress up narratives, it was just very gross to me. Every edition of that newspaper that I buy, I don't throw away. But because it's on a weekly basis, I just accumulate them after each week. Over the past couple years, it's been interesting going to previous editions or previous issues and reading through and just seeing how quickly that magazine's opinions or just how they change the narrative of things. And it's kind of gross. It's still like good to know, whatever. But I say all of this to say that I even think that news magazines are also important time capsules. And still I continue to read The Economist more casually than I did. I really don't like it. It's really sad, the narratives that they push. Continuing. This is goals, baby. If you're a loved one, this is the future. At least mine. Oh, and then it says a missing idea. So I think this was a continuation of in search of a missing idea. They have a little excerpt. On a Sunday in September of last year, we were talking themes. Something visually translatable, Kente proposed. We nodded. shook hands, then decided to make a magazine about inspiration, a rather difficult theme to translate visually. We laughed. In an age where nothing is original, we started wondering. Inspiration still floats in the air, in resistance, in a chat, or, more often than not, in watching someone else do their thing. Inspiration seems to sit somewhere between all that's ever been made and all that hasn't. It's messy. It's limitless. Samuel Spaniel said it best on page 201. Looking for inspiration isn't about getting lost. It's about digging deep, like you're sure there's gold down there. You know you're going to find a gem. Trying to track down ID's The Inspiration Issue, a magazine we only discovered after settling on the theme, led us to Milan's fashion library. Spoiler alert, it wasn't there, which felt symbolic. Still, we got a hold of a copy of the magazine. Looking at its contents, we realized something slightly uncomfortable. Our idea that had come from a personal and authentic place had been done, and done well. It made us second guess what we were doing. That's when we realized it is about exactly that, going beyond the inspiration, recognizing that art can be both referential and original. You build something, reframe it, write your story. Knowing what to bring in and what to leave out is part of the process. We're proud to present you the 7th issue of Not So Difficult magazine, our biggest one to date. We thank all contributors for their beautiful ideas and commitment to this project. It represents only a fragment of what inspiration can be. We hope to pass some of it along to you, the Not So Difficult team. Not crying, but this is a very, very beautiful introduction to the magazine. I did not buy this because it was necessarily like the inspiration issue. I didn't, unfortunately, read this prior to purchasing this, but it really speaks to me because it highlights certain elements that have really been bouncing around in my head lately. I wonder if just it was a bit of destiny or just something drew me. This really spoke to me. I love that they were talking about tracking down a magazine that had a similar theme that the editors of this magazine felt like they conceptualized or that they thought of, and then discovering a magazine that had done it before and did it well, apparently, and then still not being completely discouraged by that, but realizing that this is a maybe cycle. I've really been thinking about the concept of original ideas lately, and would like to share a bit of discourse or my opinions. Actually, before this video, I recorded a small video about it, which I think I will share by now. Today is September 13th. I think I will share it sometime soon. But I've really been thinking about inspiration and originality lately, maybe more so originality, and that a lot of the things that I feel or concepts, like accepting that maybe I did not consider it or think about it originally, and that it was an idea that was placed on me, whether it was conscious or subconscious. And it's not my role, not my job to say, this is my idea and I think about this, but it's really like, or this idea was seeded in me, and to share it amongst my community, to really inspire that thought or just those iterations of that thought. So meaning, like when they said going beyond the inspiration, recognizing that art can be both referential and original. You build something, reframe it, and write your story. Like it's all about us iterating something, adding our little bit to it, and then letting it go again without feeling ownership to particular ideas, aesthetics, concepts, presentations, whatever. I think also related to how I'm feeling about cultural appropriation. Cultural appropriation in very like the superficial sense, like seeing non-Black people wearing braids, or like adopting lingo, or listening to music. I even dare say touchy subject, but using the N-word. Like this requires maybe some nuance that I'm not going to break down right now, but to a degree that like it's not to gatekeep per se. It's to inspire that thought, or to share it, inspire thought, let people add their own little razzle dazzle and let it free. Let's continue to dig in. A visual journey through Belgian interiors. I find Belgian interiors very mid-century modern aesthetic. I think of a lot of bulbous structures, like lamps and stuff like that, but still very much like sensible functionality. When I was first looking for an apartment, my relocation agent was like, oh, this apartment has an American kitchen. And she was really like hyping it. And when I saw the place eventually, I was like, okay, that's just a kitchen. Like an American kitchen is just a kitchen. Like it's just a kitchen. But to Belgium, it's an American kitchen because it's so unlike Belgian kitchens. This is my kitchen. Electric stovetop, cabinets, and in this panel right here is my oven and microwave and refrigerator. So like American kitchens tend to have like the appliances out in the open. They're already like part of that kitchen vibe, that kitchen decor. But Belgian interiors or Belgian kitchens, like maybe European kitchens, like they tend to be more hidden, like more out. Like you don't really see that many, very minimalistic. But American kitchens, no, not minimalistic at all. So just it's funny to me. Also, like the same relocation agent, she would point out some doorknobs, be like, oh yeah, this is an American doorknob. And again, I'm like, this is just a doorknob, girl. Why are you ODing it? But indeed, like there's just a difference. So just the cultural difference, a funny concept to learn. Additionally, one thing I find quite interesting about Belgium or even Europe is just how common it is to have statues of women, or like the female form or a feminine form. Just seeing so many statues of women, whether it be like women in their chest and up, or even I've seen butts out, what I would consider coochie statues. And I lean towards the side of admiration for them. Like I do like being surrounded by art that represents femininity, the female form, women, but also too, it makes me wonder, like, is it true appreciation and reverence, or is it also a bit sexual undertones? I don't know how they're perceived per se, but me personally, I like seeing them. This is also a male statue, like there with a female statue, so it's not necessarily the same, but I see that a lot. Also this kinky bed, but I don't see that a lot. I don't see kinky beds often. Get up, get out, stay in, talk to your cat, call your mom, stare at the ceiling. What sparks it? Who brings it? And where does it go when it's gone? We asked our favorite artists about inspiration. Yasmin, an excerpt from her, I guess. Bob Dylan once said, "Play it fucking loud." Do you agree? Yes. The anticipation of playing a newly discovered track on a big sound system is one of my favorite things about DJing. Just thinking about hearing certain tracks at full volume always gets me extra excited for a gig while preparing a set. On the dance floor, I love feeling the massive power of a big stack of speakers. Like you're nothing but a bag of flesh and bones. That said, I definitely think hearing safety is important too, so I usually wear earplugs. Where do you go when the work disappears? The magazine asks. I mostly end up diving deeper into the internet for inspiration or digging for new music. Ever since I was a kid, I've really enjoyed being on the internet. Same girl. I can completely lose track of time and often find myself in some kind of fascinating digital wormhole or deep dive on any kind of artist. I do try to go outside more often to get some daylight. I like walking through Amsterdam during the middle of the weekday when it's a bit quieter. Along the way, I'll stop by one of the photography museums, either Foam or Hills Museum, or visit the bookshop Athenaeum. I love that bookshop. It's got a bunch of magazines. It's near a nice coffee shop. It's a very cool place. It's cool. I go crazy for their magazine section. She gets it. Do you see resistance as part of the process? The magazine asks. Within the process of producing music, definitely. There's so many rules about what works, since dance music is, sadly, often approached in quite a functional way. On top of that, there are endless opinions on what qualifies as good music. It can be pretty discouraging, so I think you need to feel some resistance towards those ideas in order to explore and create more freely. I try to remind myself that many of my own favorite tracks probably break some of these rules, and they often are far more interesting and memorable because of it. What do you keep buying, even though you have too many? The magazine asks. Magazines and photo books. She gets it. I have a thing for print. Is there an artist Who always helps you realign your compass? Especially on a personal level, I'd say Martin has helped me realign my compass. I started his 3024 production mentorship back in 2020. Whenever I felt stuck, whether with music, feeling uninspired, or even during the pandemic when I felt quite lost career-wise, our conversations always made things feel lighter and the obstacles less massive. Sometimes that's all you need to realign your compass, rather than sulking and overanalyzing the bigger picture all the time. What does the word spring evoke for you? The magazine asks. Physically, allergies. Mentally, excitement about the return of better tasting fruits and vegetables, baby ducks, and cherry blossoms. I love the very long spring evenings when the sun almost doesn't set. Lovely. Yasmin, a girl that gets it. This is a part of the magazine that they call Collecting Images by Jente Warzegers. My Favorite Objects by Dan Rivos, a graphic designer. What the objects are: my 25th birthday present wrapping by Cedric Yu, Hungry Again, Mary t-shirt from the Gate in London, the sugar cube my grandfather kept in his gray trench coat for nearly 15 years. Interesting. Boy Meets Girl. 2 miniature cooking pots as kitchen timers. Oh, that's actually really cute. LOL. Why rarely setting a timer has made me a better cook. I like this magazine so far. I don't necessarily want to go through all of it. Obviously, this was very long. I look forward to sharing another magazine with you. And as I think about it, I think I know what magazine I want to share next. This magazine, I feel like, is just one of the coolest magazines. It's called Copy. The first AI fashion magazine, and literally it's a magazine that, of course, like edited and whatnot by a human, but the pictures are AI generated. I even think some of the articles are AI generated, or at least AI optimized. It's a really interesting magazine. The front, the back. I think I will share this next, period.